Well, we're going to continue with our rolling coverage, shining a spotlight on the Middle East conflict there. In fact, speaking to our correspondents as well in and around the world, we've seen the UK, France, Germany have warned that they are prepared to take defensive action against Iran. That's to stop missile and drone attacks. This comes as tensions escalate in the region. The European Commission is convening an emergency security meeting. That's to coordinate a unified EU response to the crisis. Let's get more. William Denselow, SABC News Correspondent, joins us now live from Brussels. William, good afternoon. Perhaps at this point, specific defence actions that the UK, France and Germany are prepared to take against Iran if the attacks continue. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. As you mentioned, the E3, as they're called, the UK, France and Germany, saying that they are prepared to take what they describe as defensive actions against any potential threats posed and would be willing to strike at the source. So essentially going after where potential Iranian missiles or drones could be deployed from. So certainly a stronger stance from the E3 than we've heard from some other members of the European Union, perhaps most notably Spain and Spain's Prime Minister, who has effectively condemned what he described as the unilateral actions by Israel and the United States. So there are some discrepancies among member states as to just how much these attacks adhered to international law, the validity, despite shared concerns about the nuclear and ballistic missiles programs posed by Iran. But this was essentially downplayed by Friedrich Merz, the German Chancellor, saying that now is essentially not the time for bickering on such points with transatlantic allies.
You know, William, can the European Commission realistically unify the EU's 27 member states around a single foreign policy response to the crisis? I mean, in reality, how's that playing out?
Well, in terms of how things are playing out, we've seen member states taking some action on their own, most notably the E3, of course, with their actions as well as their deeds. We know that France has deployed an aircraft carrier to the region, of course. The UK, not a part of the European Union, but we see its own policies there with its providing that support for the United States, as you mentioned. So we're seeing some member states taking some action. As far as the EU is concerned as a bloc, well, this meeting really looking specifically at the direct impact that this regional conflict and this growing conflict could have right here on the shores of Europe. That was laid out by Ursula von der Leyen, the Commission President, saying that they'll be looking at threats posed by the nuclear program in Iran, the knock-on consequences in this conflict, such as migration, security concerns. She has said over the weekend that she believes that security for the Middle East, the wider region, is interwoven, interlinked with that of Europe, and considering the fact that UK bases have reportedly been struck by Iranian projectiles just shows, and those attacks occurring in Cyprus, a member state of the European Union, just shows quite explicitly how interwoven these security concerns really are.
Well, absolutely. Speaking about interwoven, speaking about the security challenges as well, what does the drone strike on the base in Cyprus signal about Europe's vulnerability to the Middle East tensions?
Well, the UK has said that it was only minimal damage, but really shows why there are great concerns here in Brussels, why Ursula von der Leyen was contacting a number of regional partners over the weekend, why there was an emergency meeting of EU foreign ministers on Sunday, and why, like you rightly mentioned, why there is a security college meeting. So European Union commissioners gathering to discuss this issue of security. So the EU trying to make a case that it is responding proactively. There are real concerns about the number of EU citizens still in the region, their security, steps being taken to make sure that they are as safe as possible, trying to seek them safe passage back to Europe if indeed necessary. So these are one area of concern. And we're also seeing the EU being very clear that they want to see a diplomatic solution. They want to see a de-escalation, and they're calling for all sides to adhere to international law as well.
William Denselow, thank you for your time at this hour. Our SABC News Correspondent, just joining us live from Brussels there, also updating on developments on that front.